What is up, guys? I have another video for you. This time it is about the engineer. I know in my previous video I said I would do the pea shooter. I do have a game recorded. However, I wanted to do the engineer so I could start finishing up all the zombie classes because I like the zombies more. I just have, yeah, I have more of a connection with them, I feel. So I'm gonna be doing uh, the engineer before the pea shooter, but I promise the pea shooter's next. Uh, in this game, it was really hectic, so I thought it was a good gameplay to upload. And the topic of the video is to tell you guys which engineer variant is the best. But I feel uh, I should talk about the other classes compared to what I feel is the best, which is the plumber. And that is due to several reasons. It's because the plumber, he's really good 1v1 because his actual gun hits really, really hard. Hits for somewhere up like 35 damage somewhere, or roughly around that. And when you hit him in the body, and then when you miss a shot, you actually hit him for only, I believe it's 25. So that's really high compared to the other ones. It is extremely high. So it allows you to do 1v2s, 1v3s, and you're really strong with the kits that he has. He has a slow, which can also stun if you drop it really close to them. He has a movement increase, so it's more juking, kind of. It's harder for your targets to hit you. So he's really strong 1v1 because he has a higher health pool. It's 125 compared to like other ones. I mean, compared to like the not the pea shooter, sunflower, the scientists, which only have 100. Uh, so I feel like he's a, that kind of higher base health lets him do a lot more of the 1v2s and 1v1s. So he's really good in that sense. And I just feel like he's a really, really strong class just in general because of just mainly primarily because of the loudspeaker because it allows you to hit two body shots, at least two, uh, which if you're using the plumber, it equates to 70 damage initially up front, guaranteed. Because if you stun them, that means they can't move, they can't shoot, and they can't use their abilities. So it's pretty much a frozen effect that you have on the target. And when you have a target like that and you're the plumber, you can get those free 30 those hard-hitting body shots for 35 damage. And for classes like the pea shooter, that's literally your entire health. That's almost your entire health because you only have 125 as the pea shooter or like the cactus. So when you can guarantee 70 damage on any target, that is really, really strong. And then follow that up with increased movement speed. It just makes you like pretty much a killing machine. And another thing that also makes him good is he has like a weird knockback effect on his jackhammer uh, that knocks people back, but also kind of stuns them in the sense that like their aim isn't where it's supposed to be. So pretty much guarantees you, uh, kind of uh, guarantees that you won't be hit for like a second. So in that sense, he's also very good in 1v1s. So I just feel like the plumber just allows you to do all that and be really strong in almost every area, like uh, attacking a garden. Because I mainly play gardens and graveyards, so when I see a plumber, he's usually hitting the point that has like one or like three targets on it. So if you're doing 25 damage to three targets, you're just hitting you're just pretty much hitting the entire team just for at least a quarter of the health. So, I mean, on every shot. So it's really strong. And other classes that can't compete with that, which I feel is the second strongest, is the electrician. That is because the electrician, to do 25 damage, you have to be hitting three people. So the shocking effect can, equal the damage. But I feel like um, it's not really as strong as the plumber because the plumber has longer range on his actual shots. He can shoot farther than the electrician because the electrician, for whatever reason, the developers decided to make it so there's a distance, a cutoff distance where it blows up uh, very short compared to everything else. And I feel like because of that, you can play the plumber kind of like far back, shoot down on points or an enemy position that's really bunkered up, kind of like in this video right now where we're attacking the playground. I can shoot into up into the where the slide is, and really make the enemies run away from that point because if they say they're gonna die in very short amount of time because the amount of damage I can put out as a plumber. Uh, so he's a really he's really strong in that sense, and the electrician, since you have to be uh, doing 3 damage to be equal to the plumber, uh, just 1v1s aren't he isn't that strong because if you miss a shot, the electrician actually hits harder. He hits for like 37 damage on a target usually all the time, and if you hit a body shot, but it only does 10 damage if you miss. So that's literally less than half of the amount of damage that you would be doing as a plumber. So it's really, really punishing if you miss a shot on the electrician uh, because of that. So I feel like the plumber in that sense is really just really a stronger pick than the electrician is. Even though the electrician is still fun seeing everything getting zapped, it just it just doesn't do just a lot of upfront damage or 1v1s. That I feel like sometimes my playstyle, I usually find people by themselves, and I feel like when I play the electrician, I feel like if I would have played the plumber in that situation, I would have won. And more often than not, I would have. And that happens quite often on the electrician, so I lean more towards the plumber being better. Uh, so next one would be comparing the plumber to like the welder. And the welder, the thing about the welder is he does less initial damage. He hits for roughly 28 damage to the body or to the head or whatever, and he does the same amount of damage as you would if you hit a target to if you miss a target but kind of hit him with the splash damage. He has the same amount of splash damage as the plumber. However, if you're constantly hitting a target, you're only going to be doing 15 damage because his splash damage has an initial damage of 10, and then he does 15 damage over time. But if you're hitting a target continuously, you're basically only doing 15 damage and refreshing that dot. So, I mean, you're doing 10 damage and refreshing the dot. So you'd only be doing 15 damage on every hit, while the plumber would be doing 25 damage on every hit. Because some of that damage that you have on the welder is wasted if you hit him with splash damage. So that's why I feel like the plumber is a lot stronger and in 1v1s as well. Because the the plumber I'm sorry, the welder only hits for 28 damage while the plumber is hitting for 35, roughly around 35. So uh, I feel like in those 1v1s 1v2 scenarios you just kind of lose out in situations you wouldn't have been if you were playing the plumber, and you lose damage and splash damage as well. So I just feel like all around the plumber's better. But what the welder does have is I feel like his fire rate's a little faster and he has less drop off on his shots. So his shots actually go straighter, but I still feel like that doesn't really justify using the welder over the plumber. So I would still pick the plumber. And the next one would be using uh, comparing the mechanic with the plumber. And the mechanic is definitely, I feel, with the mechanic they gave him an automatic, kind of like an automatic SMG that does 7 damage a hit with extreme fire rate. It's just that I feel like playing, but it's only single target, so I feel like, and it has no splash damage, so I feel like the plumber when you play the mechanic, you're kind of changing the class up, and I feel sometimes it's good, like the Camo Ranger, for example. It's just that I feel like when you put the engineer his strengths, uh, if you remove that ability to hit multiple targets at once, it really the only other class that can really do that is like things like the chemist. So I feel like uh, his long range, uh, being able to hit multiple targets at long range is a very strong quality that the engineer has, and I just feel like it's doesn't it's you're kind of losing a lot of the versatility, not the I'm sorry, not versatility, but like the strengths. You kind of give up some of the strengths, like hitting 1v, kind of like well, hitting multiple targets. Like in Gardens and Graveyards, you rely a lot on attacking the points through like shooting targets from long distance with or medium distance. Doesn't really matter, but hitting multiple targets so you can capture, put a lot of pressure on the point and capture the objective to move on to the next one. But I feel like if you're playing the mechanic, you you choose single target, so you're gonna be killing targets much slower. If they're trying to all defend and healing each other up on a point, while with the plumber, you're hitting multiple targets. They're struggling to heal each other up because you're doing damage to multiple targets. So I feel like it's just overall a lot better. Even though I feel like the mechanic is extremely strong in a 1v1. It's just, I feel like it doesn't just, being strong in a 1v1 isn't as good as being strong, uh, and especially in the Gardens and Graveyards match, being strong as to doing damage to multiple targets, so AoE damage. I feel like AoE damage is something that should be slightly prioritized over a 1v1, being able to 1v1 better. So I feel, yeah, so in that sense, I feel like 1v1s aren't as important in Gardens and Graveyards, but in Team Vanquish, I don't really play Team Vanquish, so I feel like uh, it could actually be, good in Team Vanquish because you're kind of just going for kills. But um, from what I've had, from what I've been playing of the engineer, I've been playing the engineer a lot. It's something that I feel like 1v1s aren't as important, but just doing burst damage and doing damage to lots of targets because in this game people like to group up because the heals, sunflower heals, things like you know I think like kind of like this game has a lot of abilities like that makes people want to group up together. So I feel like single target damage isn't that important. Uh, so the next one would have to be the painter, and the painter does quite a bit of damage. It does 41 damage a pop. It's just that what I forgot to mention before with the mechanic is you have to lead your shots, meaning you have to it's a little harder to hit most targets, and that same thing goes with the painter, except with the painter it doesn't have extreme fire rate like the mechanic, so leading your shots isn't that big of a deal. But with the painter, you have that kind of a slow fire rate, but it does a lot of damage. But if you miss a shot, since it does splash damage, but it's really hard to uh, kind of hit the target when with the painter. It makes it so you want to go for body shots. So when you try to hit someone straight on, usually the bullet goes past them, so you're not really hitting them for splash damage because with the painter you're not trying to aim at someone's feet like you are with the plumber. So I feel like more often than not, I'm missing the splash damage that hits for like I think it's like 10, and uh, because I'm trying to go for those big 41, the big numbers of 41, but I feel like leading your shots in this game, if you're not good at it, with the painter, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna suffer, and it's gonna set you back if you miss your shot. So I feel like in 1v1, he's kind of like the super commando, in the sense that if you miss your initial, like some of your shots, you're missing a ton of damage that you could have been doing. So I feel like the painter is definitely one of the weakest in that sense because he also does single target damage, and you're not going to be hitting a whole group for 41 damage. You're only gonna be hitting one target. While if I'm the plumber, I could hit if I hit two people, I'm doing 50 damage. So I feel like I'm being more useful on the plumber than I would be playing the painter. But in the 1v1 situation, if you're playing Team Vanquish, it isn't that bad. So I feel like since I'm a Gardens and Graveyards player, everything I talk about in videos, I just want to say right now, everything I talk about in videos, it's mainly about Gardens and Graveyards. And Team Vanquish, even I do play it, it's just that I test a lot of my stuff in Gardens and Graveyards because I just like the game. I like the way people cluster up and kind of I can predict movements better. So when I say that like a character is good and isn't that good in Gardens and Graveyards, it's because he's not that good in a 1v1. Well, strengths like 1v1 strengths that you could have can translate well into team games like Team Vanquish, where you're just trying to pick off targets and go for kills. While in this game, it's more objective and kind of clearing out potato mines so your team can run in into the point. So I feel like it's definitely a different atmosphere, and that can affect uh, a character's usefulness, but I feel like in the Gardens of Graveyard, the plumber is definitely better than the mechanic because I mean the painter because of the hitting multiple targets. So uh, yeah, that's why I feel like plumber is also strongest. And I'm missing the last one, which I'm missing is the actual engineer. Uh, the engineer uses the concrete launcher, and it's really strong. It's similar to that of the plumber, but I feel like it's just uh, it doesn't have that big AoE damage like the plumber. I feel since I hardly even play the engineer, I only play the plumber. The since I hardly play the original, the original skin, I feel like the plumber is stronger because he does. I believe he does just a little bit more AoE damage and. Uh, I feel like that AoE damage that he brings is just very useful in the Gardens of the Graveyard. Even if it's like only 5 damage, I think those things that he brings to the table, that damage that he brings to the table is just really strong. It's 5 damage that you could that's that can make the difference pretty much. It's kind of like the toxic. I don't want to get too off track, but the toxic P has a or any toxic character in the game has a natural damage that does 2 damage to everything around it. And even though it's only 2 damage per second, that damage is really adds up. And that can mean life or death. And same thing goes with the plumber. If you're doing just even a little bit more damage, uh, you're basically being that much more useful and to your team. And it could really mean that if you, it could, it could basically mean one of your teammates can live or die, and that's one extra person on the point. So pretty much that's the difference between winning and losing, basically. So I feel that even though the engineer and the plumber are very similar, I feel like the increased damage in area effects, kind of like the area damage, is just so much better. It just brings so much to the table, and right here in this situation that I'm in the video right now is a perfect example. I'm just spraying shots into the mansion door, while destroying potato mines, destroying tall nuts, destroying killing people, and just even if that even if I do maybe five if I'm doing 5 more damage, that's 5 more damage that my other teammates don't have to do. So I feel like that's just that much more stronger than compared to the engineer. So that's why I feel like the plumber just is an all-around stronger character, and he's just well-rounded compared to everything. Like the welder and the painter are good in 1v1s, and like the electrician's really good in when you hit multiple targets. But I feel like the plumber is just the best well-rounded character. He's just far out and the best, just the most well-rounded, and I feel like because he's well-rounded, you can put him in a lot of situations and do extremely well in. So. Uh, I hope you guys, and that concludes why I feel like the plumber is the better, and I'm sure that you guys, once you guys have played with it, you guys will feel the same way, and I also hope that you guys enjoyed the video as well because I haven't uploaded in like several days. It's just that it's not because I was struggling to find video. It's just that Uh, I've been having a lot of fun on Gardens and Graveyards, and I'm just trying to enjoy the game and kind of uploading these videos. Uh, isn't It's kind of puts I just pretty much I want to play the game more and do videos less. So it's not that I hate uploading videos at all. I really like it. It's just that I would enjoy it if I could just upload gameplay by itself and not have to do commentary. It's just that people like commentary, so that's what I'm trying to do. And since I'm not that good in commentary, it takes me a while. It takes me a couple tries to do a video like this one. It took me like 5 tries to get the intro that I wanted. So I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And hopefully you guys share this video with your friends because if you liked it, I know your friends will. So take it easy, guys. I'll see you soon.